Hello friends, I'm Hussein. I'm going to give an analysis for the chart of a famous TV show talk talk show host, Bradnoy, in fact David Bradnoy, and I will put the link of his Astro Data Bank nativity. I will put the link below the video, and you can check it to see the data. Although in this table you can see uh, the best data of the native. If you check, here is the date of the event, and let me check the size to better one. Yeah, this is the date of the event, June the 5th, 1940, 5 June of 1940, 2:20 a.m. and this is an AA rated chart as per the category that is given by Astro Data Bank website. Although I believe every chart needs rectification, because anyway the recording of the best time in the hospitals, they don't follow astrological rules when they are recording, doctors and nurses. And then for any chart you need to check the correctness of birth time. But anyway, when it is AA rated, it is more reliable than other categories like A or B or C. And also I checked it from the viewpoint of disease and also his profession, and I found it accurate. Maybe some slight changes are needed, but it is enough for us to check and to move forward from the viewpoint of disease. I want to give an analysis for this nativity as per medical astrology. And he had two diseases. First one, AIDS, and the other one was a rare skin cancer named Merkel cell carcinoma. Merkel cell carcinoma. Then the first disease was AIDS. And you know AIDS, it is connected to the immune system. Okay, immune system of the body. And the second disease was a rare skin cancer that was Merkel, I hope I can, Merkel cell carcinoma. This is a rare skin cancer, and we are going to look at this chart from these two viewpoints, AIDS and rare skin cancer, and to see how it is in the potential of the chart and how these are triggered during the dynamic time periods. Before starting these, I need to give some explanation about these charts, these tables here. I know some of my friends here are Western astrologers, and then maybe they can't understand Vedic charts deeply, and they are not, because they are they're dealing with Western charts that are in circular and in different shapes, and they have their own rules. And then I will give a short explanation, and I refer you to some Vedic astrology resources to find the rules for making birth chart and divisional charts and how you can analyze them, etc. Okay, here you can see 4 squares. These are charts in Vedic astrology. Mostly you can see the charts in square shape, although in Western you can see them in circular. But in Vedic they are mostly square, and these are the types of the chart that I always work on. They are much easier for understanding. Also, there are other styles, but to avoid confusion, I don't give explanation about them. This is Rasi. Rasi is equals to the main birth chart. In fact, this is the main birth chart. You have this in Western, in tropical way, but here ascendant. This is the ascendant of the chart, and planets. These are planets with two first words of the name are here. These are planets, and these positions are all sidereal. They are sidereal positions, and sidereal are around 20 back of the tropical positions. Means if you have tropical position in Western astrology and you reduce around 23 from them, you will reach sidereal positions. Then here in Vedic we are using sidereal positions, planets. Then this is the main chart, Rasi. You can see other three charts here. These are called divisional charts, or in Sanskrit they are called amsas. Amsas are divisional charts, the charts that are derived from the main chart. This is the main chart, and these three charts are derived from the main chart, and for making them you have to follow special rules, and I refer you to Vedic astrology books to study about them, how to make divisional charts. Although your software accurately will give you these charts, you don't need to make them by hand, but it's great if you understand them, if you have some background about them to understand what is these charts, how you can make it, etc. Anyway, this is Navamsha. This is a divisional chart that you always use besides the main chart. This is the main chart, Rasi, and this is Navamsa, and you always use it besides the main chart for any event. This is available besides the main chart for any event, this divisional chart, Navamsha, D9. Without which your analysis will not be a professional one, because it helps you to evaluate the strength of planet in an accurate way. And if you don't use Navamsha besides Rashi, your analysis will not be accurate, because this way you can't understand the true power and strength of planets and houses. Okay, we check the position of planets here to be sure about their strength. There are two other divisional charts related to the event of death and disease respectively, especially D6 or Shastamsha, that is a six divisional chart, and it also, like other divisional charts, derives from the main chart. It has its own rule. These have their own rules, and you can refer to Vedic astrology books to understand how you can make them. And I repeat again, your software gives these divisionals accurately. Anyway, you have to understand them. This is D6. That is connected to the disease. For analyzing the health of the native, you need three charts. Main chart, Rasi, that is the main base chart, position of planets in sidereal, Navansha, that is D9 divisional chart, and Shastamsa, that is D6 divisional charts connected to the disease. It is related to the disease and health of the native. Although these charts represent other matters too, but for disease we need this one. And here Ashtamsa is about the death, because I'm going to check this time periods for death too. I brought this chart too, and you don't need to bring it here when you want to analyze disease. But anyway, these three are enough, and I just gave it here to check his death time too. Okay, in these charts, in Rashi and other divisional charts, you can see something that is right AS. It is ascendant. Sometimes they write it rising. Sometimes you see it is written lag or lagna, that equals to the ascendant. This is the first house of the chart. You start from the ascendant. Each sign, these are signs. These are all signs, and each sign equals a house in Vedic astrology. Say ascendant is placed here, and then this sign that is Aries is the first house. This is second house, third house, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You move clockwise from the ascendant until you reach the 12th house. And these squares are signs. Say this is Aries. You can see Aries. This is Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and until you reach Pisces. For all divisional charts, it's the same. Here is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Aries, Taurus. But you can see the position of ascendant is different in divisional charts. They can be in different positions. They are not necessarily the same with the main base chart. They have their own ascendants because they have their own lure, although they are derived from the main base chart, but have their own ascendants. And say in Navamsha, its ascendant is fall here, or is Taurus. In Navamsha, the ascendant is Taurus. You move clockwise and until you reach the 12th house. And other divisional chart the same. You can see their ascendant. In the chart, main chart, you can see the first two words of planets in main chart and divisional charts. These are the name of the planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Moon, Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Rahu, North Node, Ketu, South Node. Jupiter and Saturn are placed in the first house because here is placed, ascendant is placed here. Then Jupiter and Saturn are in the first house and in the sign of Aries. Moon and Sun are placed in the second house, first house, second house, in the sign of Taurus. Mercury, Mars, Venus are placed in Gemini, third house. Fourth house is Cancer, 5 Leo, sixth house is Virgo, and Rahu is placed there. This is Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. That Ketu is posited there. Then you can see node axes are in 6, 12 axes. This 6th house, 12th house, that is the sign of Virgo and Pisces. In other divisional charts too, they have their own ascendant and the position of planets are different. Sometimes you see in some divisional charts, you see nodes together. You may ask how it is possible that nodes stay together. They are always in mutual positions. Yeah, but divisional charts are not real base charts. They are the charts that are divisions. They are derived from the main chart. This is main chart. This is main natal chart. Natal chart. And these are all derived from the main natal chart. And then sometimes, as per the calculation, you can see nodes are together in a sign because they are divisional charts. Okay. Then for analysis disease, we look at 3 charts. Rashi, that is the main chart. Navansha, that should be always available for any event to help you to evaluate the true strength of planets. And D6, that is Shashtamsa, that is connected to the disease and health of the native. And this is D8 Ashtamsa divisional charts that I have given here to check the timing for his death. Also, it is not needed for analysis when you are checking for disease. These 3 are enough: Rashi, Navamsha, Shashtamsa. Okay. Now, then this is the first house of the chart. This is the second house. This is third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house, 7th house. Each house equals, in fact, each sign equals a house in Vedic astrology. 8th house, 9th house, 10th, 11th, and 12th house. Okay? And okay, let's use smaller size with different colors because it's going to be very busy. Always I make every paper busy, and here in this digital pen I'm also making it very busy. Okay, in this main chart, now we are going to check this the chart for the two events, two diseases: AIDS, that is connected to the immune system of the native, and a rare skin cancer named Merkel cell carcinoma, that is a rare skin cancer. Before starting the chart from the viewpoint of health, you need to check the strengths of the first house and 6 houses, because these are all connected. This is the ascendant. Ascendant in a chart is physical body and everything related to the native. If it is weak, then the health is going to be weak. And another one is 6th house. 6th house is especially the house for the health and disease. And this is for health and disease. And the first house is physical body, and in fact everything for the native. And at first we should check these houses to be sure about the strengths, if they are strong or weak. And for analyzing each house, when you want in Vedic astrology analyze a house, you check the relevant house and also its ruler, where it is placed, in which aspect it is participating, etc. Another thing about medical astrology are 3 houses: 6, 8, 12. These are bad houses in Vedic astrology, and any planet placed in these houses, or if the lord of these houses are with any planet, they can make disease or weaken that planet. These are called Dustan, Bhava, in fact, Dustan Bhavas, or Dustan houses, 6, 8, 12. Then here, this is the first house, this is the 6th house, okay? That is Virgo. This is the 8th house, that is Scorpio. And this is the 12th house, that is Pisces. Then here, these 3 houses are connected to the disease. And we are going to check this position and their loads and their effects on the houses and planets. Okay. Let us start evaluating the first house and 6th house powers. If you check here, the ascendant is in Aries. This is the first house. And here, 6th house is Virgo. For the first house, the first thing that you can see is that Jupiter is placed here with Saturn. Saturn is 10th and 11th lords. Saturn is not malefic in this chart. It is not related to the 6, 8 or 12 houses. You can see it is the lord of Capricorn and Aquarius that are 10th and 11th houses respectively. But Jupiter, it is the lord of the Pisces that here falls in the 12th house of the chart. Then you can see the ruler of the 12th house, Jupiter, ruler of Pisces, is placed in Aries. That is the first house. That is the ascendant of the native. It can connect the native with hospitalization. 12th house is hospitalization. I told you it is a house related to the disease. And then there can be some connections to hospitalizations. Another thing, the ascendant is in Aries. Okay, its ruler is Mars. Where is Mars? Mars is placed in the third house. It is a good house, but with Mercury and Venus. Venus is benefic, but Mercury is in its own house of Gemini, but it is also at the same time the lord of the Virgo. In Vedic astrology, each planet, and also in Western too, but especially in Vedic, each planet has two houses. Say for Mercury, it has Gemini and Virgo as its two houses. But one of these two are the main house of planet and has more importance than the other one. Say for Mercury, Gemini, Virgo. Virgo is the main house for Mercury. In Vedic astrology, they are called multrikuna signs. The multrikuna sign for Mercury is Virgo, and then Mercury is mainly the lord of the sixth house, although it is the lord of third house too, that is Gemini, but it is its multrikuna house, and then it is mainly the lord of the sixth house. Then you can see Mercury is with Mars. Okay, Mercury is with Mars here, conjunct Mars. Mars is the ruler of the ascendant. We were checking the power of the ascendant. We saw that 12th lord is placed here. And then we check its ruler, that is Mars. It is with the sixth lord, Mercury. Then it again connects the native with disease, health issues. 12th house was there, hospitalization. And ruler is with the sixth lord, that is disease. And okay, another thing that we should do for the checking the true strength of Mars, that is the ruler of the ascendant, we should check Navansha and Shastamsa, that is for disease. Navansha, Mars is placed in Pisces. There is no weakness for it in Navansha. But in Shastamsa, D6, divisional chart of disease, look where Mars is positioned. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Cancer is the place that makes the Mars debilitated. Then again, you can see a weakness for the Mars. In the birth chart, it was with the 6th Lord Mercury. And in the D6 divisional chart, Shastamsa, that is connected to the disease, it is in Cancer and then debilitated. Then the first house is weak. It can show a possibility for health issues. But it is not enough. We should check, as I told you, 6th house too. And it is the main house of health. Okay, here the 6th house is weak, Virgo, as I explained to you. You can see the nodes exist is fallen in this house. In this 6, 12 exists. You can see this is Rahu, north node. This is Ketu, south node. They are in Virgo and Pisces respectively, that are 6 and 12 houses respectively. Then it is a bad sign, because in Vedic astrology, nodes are malefic, and you can see they are positioned here. We move forward to check the ruler of the Virgo 2, that is the ruler of 6th house, Mercury. It is placed in Gemini, it's in own house, and 3rd house. It is a good placement, but at the same time, it is with Mars. Mars was the ruler of the 1st house, if you remember. And again, Mars has another house, that is Scorpio, that here is the 8th house of the chart. Okay, and Mercury is connected to the 8th house too. 8th house matters. And then again, you can see some connections, some weaknesses for the 6th house too. And These are the things that you can check here. Um, let's check the first and sixth houses in D6. That is the divisional charts related to the disease. I told you that we have to analyze divisional charts aligned with the main chart. Here was Navansha. We check the position of planets in Navansha to be sure about their strength, and also the relevant divisional chart. Ascendant in D6 is Taurus. Okay, Mercury is positioned here, and its Lord Venus is in Leo in the fourth house under the aspect of Rahu and Ketu and Sun. Okay, they are in mutual sign to Venus. And sixth house here in this divisional chart, this is the first house, this is the sixth house, that is Libra. Again, the Lord is Venus. Venus is positioned here in Leo under the aspect of Rahu, Ketu, and the Sun. Then I see again weakness here because Venus is under the aspect of two planets named Rahu and Ketu. Also, they are shadowy planets, they are not real, but anyway, they are totally malefic. Then I feel some weakness in the first and sixth house of the native. It can show some potentials for disease. Then this native can have some kinds of diseases. And now let's check two problems that he had in his life. AIDS that is connected to the immune system, and that rare skin cancer. For the AIDS, we need to check three things. First of all, as it is connected to the immune system, Moon and Mars are two important planets because they are connected to the blood. And blood has an important role in immune system and the defense of the body against foreign matters, against foreign materials that come to the body. And also 12th house, that is exactly the house connected to the immune system. Moon and Mars. Where is Moon? In the main chart, in the birth chart, you can see Moon is placed in Taurus. Okay. Exalted. It is a good position for the Moon. But at the same time, you can see Rahu is aspecting this Moon. In Vedic Astrology, nodes have their own aspects. If you want to see the aspect of nodes, first of all, look where the nodes are placed. Here, we are checking the aspect of Rahu, that is North node. It is placed in Virgo. First, the house that they are placed, you start from here in clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the houses that Rahu is aspecting. Then you move here, start from here in clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth house. 6, 7, sorry, seventh house too. For every planet, its mutual house is also the house that is aspected by that. Rahu is aspecting Pisces too. 5th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 9th house from Rahu too. These three houses are under the aspect of Rahu. And you can see Moon positioned in Taurus, although exalted in good position, but under the aspect of Rahu. Then you may see some weaknesses. In Navamsha, you can see Moon is in Aries. It is not bad, but in the 12th house. 12th house of Navamsha. And with Venus, that is the first and sixth lords, ruler of the first and sixth house of Navamsha, that are Taurus and Libra. And if you check D6, that is connected to the disease, you can see moon is placed in Sagittarius. This is the ascendant of D6. You start from the ascendant, you move clockwise as I explained to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. This is the eighth house. This is the eighth house of D6. Then moon is positioned in the eighth house. It is weak. It is connected to the disease, to the chronic illness. Eighth house, I explained to you, eighth house is another house connected to the disease that you should check. 12th house is connected to hospitalization. Eighth house is connected to chronic illness, and sixth house is connected to the disease. In D6, moon is placed in the eighth house, that is Sagittarius here, and it is weak under the aspect of Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, that is the eighth house of D6. Then you can see the weakness of the moon too. No wonder that his immune system was weak. Another thing that you can check is Mars. Then we check moon, it is weak, okay? And then Mars. I explained to you that Mars in the main birth chart is with Mercury, that is the sixth lord of the chart, although in a good placement with Venus. But anyway, has some effect of the sixth house. In Navansha, Mars is placed in Pisces. The ascendant of Navansha is Taurus, and Mars is in a good placement, is in a good house of 11th house, but under the aspect of Jupiter. In Vedic astrology, Jupiter aspect the planets in 5th, 7th, and 9th position from itself, like nodes. In fact, the aspect of Jupiter like nodes in Vedic astrology. Then you start from Jupiter in any chart, in main chart or divisional chart. If you find the aspects of Jupiter in Vedic, you start from the Jupiter itself, you move clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the house. 6, 7, 8, 9. Then Jupiter is aspecting these three houses. And Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Here is the sign of Sagittarius, and the ascendant is in Taurus, and it will be 8th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then Jupiter is the ruler of the 8th house, positioned in Cancer, exalted, and is aspecting Mars, the planet connected to the blood. It can show some chronic illness related to the blood. If you go to the Shastamsa, that is D6, you can see that Mars is debilitated. Blood. And then Mars too is weak. Then no wonder that his immune system was very weak. Another thing that we should check for immune system is 12th house. Again, we look at the main chart, Rasi. I told to you this is the ascendant, and then this is the 12th house that is Pisces. You can see Ketu is placed in Pisces. I told you that nodes are considered as malefic, shadowy planets. Malefic, their effects is malefic. If they are placed in any house or aspecting any house, they can cause problems for those houses. Ketu is placed in Pisces. And yeah. And the ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. I told you that Jupiter is placed in Aries in the first house. It is a good position for Jupiter. In Nawansha, Jupiter is placed in Cancer. It is exalted, and but in the main chart for disease, in the divisional chart for disease, Jupiter is placed in Gemini. Okay, it is under the aspect of nodes. Both Rahu and Ketu are aspecting Jupiter. I told you that for nodes, you start from them, you move clockwise in any divisional chart, in main chart or any divisional chart. First, second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, the same color. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then these nodes are aspecting these houses. You can see. Then you can see Jupiter, the ruler of the main chart, in D6 is placed in Gemini under the aspect of both nodes. I explained to you that they are with each other nodes because these are divisional charts. They're not real charts, and this calculation makes sometimes node together. Both nodes are aspecting the ruler of the main, the ruler of the 12th house of the main chart, that is Jupiter, connected to the immune system. And this is weak. You can check the ruler of the houses of the main chart in divisional charts too. In addition to checking their own houses in each divisional chart, you should check the ruler of the houses of the main chart in D6 too. What we did here for these planets. And you saw that Jupiter, the ruler of the 12th house of the main chart, is placed in Gemini in D6 under the aspect of both nodes. Okay. Then for me, what I see is that the total weakness of immune system. No wonder he had AIDS as a disease for himself that is connected to defense system, immune system. Okay, they are very what to do with this busy whiteboard. I told you that I'm going to make it busy to write everything on it, and I know I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm using Paint here. I'm using my in fact my digital pen in Paint software, and it is hard to erase things here. Let me find a solution to erase things. Maybe. Oh my God, no. Let's make this way. Okay. Now we are going to check from the viewpoint of skin cancer, and you can see how beautifully these planets are showing skin cancer for this native. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, no problem. I should use another software when I'm using this to be able to erase things quickly. Skin cancer. For skin cancer, we need to check some planets and houses. 10th house of the chart, sign of Capricorn. You can find these in Vedic Astrology books, principles, medical books, and also your own research. 10th house, Capricorn, and the planets Mercury, Saturn, are connected to skin. These are two planets that are connected to the skin. Then 10th house, Capricorn, and Mercury and Saturn. Here in this chart, you can see Saturn in the main chart is placed in Aries, and it is the sign that Saturn is debilitated. Then Saturn, the significator for skin, is debilitated in Aries. It is also with Jupiter, the ruler of the 12th house. That is a malefic house for disease. I told you, I wrote these houses for you. And then I believe I see, and it is a totally weak Saturn. About the Mercury, I explained to you that it is with the eighth lord of the chart in the main chart. Mercury is placed in Gemini with the ruler of the 8th house, Mars, that is the ruler of 5th and 8th houses. Scorpio, it is with Mercury. Mercury is connected to the chronic illness to some extent. And also in Navansha, if you check, now Mercury is placed in the 8th house. Okay, this is the 1st house and this is the 8th house of Navansha. And under the aspect of Rahu. Again, if you check, this is the north node, Rahu. We will start from here, move clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it is under the 5th aspect of Rahu. Then Mercury is under some effects, some bad effects in Navansha. Here it is placed in the 1st house in D6. It is placed in the 1st house, that is Taurus. It is not under any bad aspect here, but its dispositor, it is placed in Taurus. Its dispositor is Venus, and Venus is under the aspect of nodes. Generally, Mercury is not bad, but connected to the chronic illness. Its strength is not bad, but it is in the main chart. You saw that it is with the Mars, that is the ruler of the 8th house of chronic illness. In Navansha, you saw that it is again placed in the 8th house of chronic illness under the aspect of Rahu. And in D6, it is not bad. It is placed in the ascendant with no bad aspect. And the sign Capricorn, okay, this is the main chart. This is the 10th house that falls in the sign Capricorn, accidentally here. And the ruler is Saturn. We discussed that how Saturn is weak. It is debilitated in Aries with 12th lord Jupiter. And also, this house is under the aspect of Rahu. I told you that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then Capricorn is weak too. If you check here, in the Navansha, the ascendant is in Taurus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10th house falls in Aquarius. Okay? This is Pisces, this is Aries, this is Taurus, and move on. And this is Aquarius. Keto is placed in the 10th house. And it is under the effect of nodes. And its lord, that is Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius. It is placed in Leo, although in a good house of force, but under the node axis. You can see that Rahu, Ketu nodes, Rahu Ketu axis is on the Saturn, the main significator of skin, and also the ruler of the 10th house that is connected to the skin. If you move to the D6, you can see that Saturn is with the Mars, with the debilitated Mars. Saturn, the main significator of skin, is in Cancer with Mars. And if you check here, Mars is the ruler of this is the 1st house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a Scorpio. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is Aries. And then Mars is the ruler in D6. Mars is placed in Cancer, and it is the ruler of the seventh and 12th houses. Then you can see the connection of the Saturn with 12th house because it is with Mars. And yeah, then it is with the ruler of the 12th house, Mars. It has some connection to the 12th house too in D6. And if you check the 10th house, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again in D6, the ascendant is in Taurus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 10th house falls in Aquarius. And you can see there three planets are there: Sun, Rahu, Ketu. Oh my God! Again, Rahu, Ketu in Aquarius. That is the 10th house of the chart. 10th house is another house. In fact, is the house that we consider for skin. Then this house is weak. And we talked about its ruler, that is Saturn, is placed in Cancer with the 12th Lord Mars. This 10th house is also under the 9th aspect of Jupiter. I told you that we start from Jupiter. Okay, it is Jupiter. You want to check the aspects of Jupiter. Okay, one move clockwise. This is Jupiter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then Jupiter is aspecting these houses, and one of them is 10th house. 10th house is very weak. Imagine nodes are there, and Jupiter, the ruler of the 8th house of chronic illness, is again aspecting these. Then you can clearly see the connection of the 10th house with the 8th house and disease. Moreover, in D6, I told you that you can see that rising ascendant is Taurus. The ruler of the 6th house, this is the 6th house, the ruler is Venus. Okay, and Venus is placed in Leo, yeah, while mutually aspecting the 10th house. Oh my God, again, very weak 10th house. No wonder that Saturn and 10th house are weak, and then he had a rare skin cancer. Okay. Let's move on to dynamic analysis and to see how the disease of skin cancer triggered in his life and what happened to him. First of all, this is in this table. You can see it is written Vimshuttari Dasha. In Western astrology, you have progressions. It is equal to progression. It is different with that, but anyway, if you want to do some comparison, Vimshuttari Dasha in Vedic astrology equals to, is equivalent to progressions in Western. For some comparison to understand what we are doing, we are going to find the time trigger of skin cancer and the event of death for the native. He is died in 2004, in December 2004, you can see, and we are going to check the dynamic time, the dynamic time period that his death happened, to check it astrologically. You see Vimshuttari Dasha. Vimshuttari Dasha is a Dasha period that you calculate as per the position of the moon in the main chart, in which star or nakshatra. In Vedic astrology, they call the stars nakshatras, and they have their own calculations for calculating Vimshuttari Dasha. Again, you can refer to basic Vedic astrology books to understand the way you can calculate these. Although your software will give you accurate calculation of dashas, you don't need to do this manually. But anyway, it's good to understand what is its roots and how it is calculated. Vimshutari dasha is to find the time for triggering of the events. Here we are checking the time triggering of skin cancer. We saw the potential of this disease in the native chart. Now we are going to check time that it is going to be triggered. And he died in December 2004. In Vimshutari Dasha, we have a main Dasha, sub Dasha, sub Dasha, and sub Dasha, or they call it Dasha, Bhukti, Antra, Sukshma. And this is the main dasha. This is the main time period that shows you a huge span of time. And the more you go through these divisions, the smaller will be the time span. Say for Saturn, it is from 1989 to 2008. This is the main dasha. Rahu is subdasha. It is a subdivision of main dasha. In fact, this subdivision is under the rulership of Rahu. You should refer to Vedic Astrology book to understand what it means, how you calculate the dasha, and what are these rulers. If you go forward to the smaller division, you will see to the Venus, that is Antra Lord. It is in shorter span of time. It is from 14 September 2004. July to 3rd January 2005. Then it is smaller than the above. It is just 1 year. It was from 1989 to 2008. Rahu sub period was from 2002 to 2005, and Venus Antra, that is the smaller division of Dasha, is from 2004 to 2005. And Mercury, that is Sukshma, the smallest part of this division, is from 2004, in fact, 13 November 2004 to 24 December 2004. Then, smallest part here. That you can find the exact time, in fact, more accurate date of happening an event. Okay. His death happened in Saturn main period, Rahu sub period, Venus Antara, and Mercury Sukshma. These three are a smaller division of Saturn. You divide it to the first, second, and third part until you reach the accurate, the most accurate date. In fact, more accurate date for the event. Let's check these rulers to see the connection to the death and skin cancer. Saturn is the main dasha lord that his death happened. Saturn, I told you, Saturn is main karaka for skin, and I showed you that how it is weak in these charts. Okay, no wonder that his death is happened in Saturn, and Saturn is connected to the skin, and he died of skin cancer. Wow. If you check the Ashtamsa is divisional chart to checking the death of the native. You can see its ascendant is in Taurus. You move clockwise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can see Saturn, the main lord of the Dasha, of Vimshutari Dasha, is placed in Leo. And both nodes are placed in Aquarius and mutually aspecting Saturn. Okay? Then you can see again Saturn is weak in D8, the chart of the death. No wonder this planet gave death to the native. Another one is Rahu, that is sub-period. And if you, I told you that Rahu is malefic. Rahu Ketu can give many malefic events, including disease, death, etc. And in main chart, they are placed in 6-12 houses of disease. And yeah, no wonder that death and disease simultaneously happen in this sub-period. And yeah. Booked period, sub-period, sub-sub-period. Dasha, Bhukti, Antra. Antra is Venus. Oh, what about Venus? Venus has given death, at the same time disease. I told you that Venus, in the main chart, it is with Mars, that is the lord of the 8th house of chronic illness. And in the Navansha, it was the lord of the 6th house of disease. See how beautifully these were happening. It is also placed in the 12th house of Navansha. If you check D6, you can see Venus is in Leo under the aspect of Rahu and Ketu. Okay? And it is the ruler of the 6th house. 6th house is Libra, and its ruler is Venus. Wow. Venus is ruler of the 6th house of D6 chart. That is the chart for disease, divisional chart for disease. Let's check the divisional chart for death, Ashtamsa. In Ashtamsa, you can see that Venus is placed with Mars, the ruler of the 12th house, and 7th house of this, under the aspect of Jupiter, the 8th lord. It is the 8th house, and its ruler is Jupiter, Sagittarius. Jupiter is aspecting Venus and Mars, Venus. And it is again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is the 6th house, Libra. Oh, again its ruler is Venus. Then you can see how it has given both disease and death simultaneously. And Mercury, the last one, that is the smallest division here in this analyzing of Dasha, from 30 November to 24 December 2004. And his death happened in this time span. And it is connected to the Mercury sub period, or Sukshma. I told you that Mercury is connected to skin. Okay? And it is placed in the 1st house in D6 chart. Any planet that is placed in the ascendant of a divisional chart, I'm not going to go to the details of analyzing divisional chart. I told you that we have to refer to Basic Vedic Astrology book to understand this. It is in the 1st house. Then it has given the event of disease. And if you check the 8 Ashtamsha divisional chart, you can say, here is Mercury. Wow, it is placed in the 6th house. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it accurate? Also, the death is not good. The death of people is not good. From the beauty, I mean the beauty of astrology, astrological beauty. If you go to the Navamsha chart, pose chart, that you always use besides the main chart of Rasi, you can see Mercury is placed in the 8th house. 1st house, 8th house. Wow, again. And under the aspect of node, the 5th aspect, then you can see the connection of Mercury to the 8th house and disease, the same time being the main significator for skin. Mercury and Saturn are significator for skin. And then his death happened here. Uh, okay, friends, and this table is a table of position of planets as per the degree. Sorry, I forgot, but it is just the position as per the degree until we reach Rahu, Ketu, and other parts are related to other things that we are not going to discuss here. And these are the degrees of planets that you can see in this table. And it is the birth data of the native. Thank you, friends, for being with me. I tried to explain these in a way that you understand it, even if you are not, if you have not studied Vedic astrology. But anyway, I couldn't go to more details because it will be a very long video, and you have to refer to Vedic astrology book to understand how what are divisional charts, what are dashas, vimshutari dashas, etc., etc. I just tried to show you this event for the native and how beautifully astrology show these AIDS and rare skin cancer for this native. Thank you very much.